And we continue at 1:06 in the afternoon. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
John, in Oakland's Chinatown, businesses are having to deal with repeated graffiti over and over and over again on their walls. And what does the city of Oakland do? Fine the businesses for not cleaning up the graffiti fast enough.
Well, they can't put the people who do the graffitiing in jail out of, equity.
They're taking small mom-and-pop business owners in Chinatown and fining them between $500 to $3,000 because they won't arrest anybody for tagging.
And they wonder why the mayor got recalled.
It's a lot of crime now.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Earlier today, President Trump went on Truth Social and posted the following. Quote, "No more sanctuary cities. They protect the criminals, not the victims. They're disgracing our country and are being mocked all over the world. Working on papers to withhold all federal funding for any city or state that allows these death traps to exist," end quote. Donald Trump getting serious with cities and states that want to defy federal law. We live in the state of California, or Randy and I do. Many of you are listening online all over the place, but most of the audience lives here in California. Our state is a sanctuary state. Most of the big cities in California are sanctuary cities, including Los Angeles, Oakland, and San Francisco. These are also cities and the state. We know that they're also experiencing budget deficits. In Los Angeles, LA Mayor Karen Bass just went to Sacramento, hat in hand, begging for money because the city of LA is $1 billion shy. She says she needs the money because of the fires. But the budget deficit isn't there because of the fires. The budget deficit is there because she and the council mismanaged our finances. But the fires, like COVID, are a convenient excuse to paper over your own deficiencies. In Oakland, we learned that if the group that bought the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum defaults on their payments, the city could go broke. We know they're already laying people off because they don't have the money to pay their bills. The state of California is $7 billion off the mark due to more money being spent on Medi-Cal than we anticipated. We also know that the bullet train needs an additional $7 billion to remain operational. So let's say it's $14 billion. Is that the right number, Randy?
They asked for $3.5 billion, and they asked for another $3.5 billion.
Okay. And then if we want to keep the bullet train on track, that's an additional $7 billion.
Yes.
Okay, so $14 billion. And then you have the city and county of San Francisco, who also just dumped their mayor and replaced him with Daniel Lurie. Daniel Lurie is now dealing with a budget deficit in the city by the Bay. In fact, he recently did a sit-down with K-Ron TV in the Bay Area where he talked about all of the problems facing San Francisco, including the Doom Loop.
Let's hear what Daniel Lurie had to say about the Doom Loop on Cron 4.
The narrative was really horrible. Year and a half ago, headlines, Doom Loop, San Francisco was going to hell in a handbasket. It's tough to fight a narrative of people with their iPhones and whatnot shooting video of people overdosing at the BART stations and all the...
They call it the fentanyl fold.
Stations and all the horrible things that were happening on the streets. Image is one thing, but, people want to see actual results.
That's right.
How are you measuring those results and getting the message out?
I think the narrative was, there was some truth to it, but it wasn't all true. And so countering that narrative has been critically important. It started with us getting the J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference not only to be successful this year, but to come back. And they agreed to come back. That happened in January. We pulled off a great NBA All-Star game weekend where we got people like Charles Barkley talking about how great San Francisco is. So we got...
Oh, my.
Sir Charles.
Well, he got national headlines a couple of times when they were talking about this upcoming All-Star game that happened earlier this year. And he would be like, I don't want to go to San Francisco. That place is a hellhole.
About how great San Francisco is. So we got him on board.
That's a tough nut to crack.
It was a tough nut to crack. We had the Game Developers Conference, 30,000 people in town a couple of weeks ago. We're winning conferences back. We got a company called Databricks to commit to keeping their conference. They were off to Vegas, and we got them to commit to here through 2030. We have to just keep stacking these wins on top of each other, and we're starting to see the narrative change across the country and, frankly, across the world. And people are...
We got so close. I'm going to get you.
Across the country and, frankly, across the world. And people are rooting for us. They want San Francisco to succeed because they know what the three of us know, and your viewers know, that when we're at our best, this is the greatest city in the world.
And there have been some very notable improvements in the last year leading up to the election and since Lurie took over in the last couple of months. Those mass arrests at the drug den parks, that's making a difference.
Oh, things are improving. And not just because Lurie took over, but also because of the new district attorney. Brooke Jenkins is not willing to stand idly by as the city is destroyed by retail theft and other forms of crime, like Chesa Boudin was.
If they can now just get rid of the crazy judges that are still handing out slaps on the wrist sentences, then we'd be all good to go. But there's some major improvements in San Francisco. But despite all of that, San Francisco, which is a much smaller city than the city of Los Angeles, is facing the exact same budget deficit, $1 billion.
They are broke, and they're going to need some help.
You're trying to have some fun. You throw out the first pitch of the Giants game. Nice strike. You have these entertainment zones that you've unveiled, 5 more of them. All this comes at a cost, and there's this budget deficit that we haven't mentioned, almost $1 billion, and I know you're trying to be fiscally responsible. There's talk of those public toilets, some of them, half of them maybe having to shut down just based on money.
I thought we were sticking with the joy and the hope and the optimism here. And,
well, that whole money thing.
We got to have fun in our city. We got to enjoy the Giants at 8-2, hopefully getting their 9th win tonight. We have so much to celebrate in this city, and yet we have our challenges. We inherited a historic budget deficit.
Don't get rid of the toilets, please, Daniel. Don't do it.
Leave those. Find the cuts elsewhere.
And we can't paper it over with one-time funding any longer. So we're sitting down with our friends in labor.
You know what this is and why so many major cities, specifically in California, are in these massive budget deficits? Because they got so much bailout money from COVID that was one-time funds that they thought, well, why don't we just increase a whole bunch of contracts, spend a whole bunch of money that we don't have, and see what happens in 4 or 5 years.
And when you do that, you get dependent on that money coming in on a regular basis, and that didn't happen.
Our friends in labor, with our nonprofit communities, with our department heads, we have to submit a budget. It's by law has to be balanced. We're facing a $1.1 billion budget deficit, and with what's going on nationally and globally, we are going to have to tighten our belts. And I was elected to make hard decisions. We're going to do that in consultation with our partners across the city. But there's no question in my mind that if we work together, we make these tough decisions, our best days are in front of us.
So you're not a politician.
So there you have it. He knows they're broke. He said he's going to have to make some tough decisions, and that's where they are, which is pretty much in the same place as L.A. and Oakland and San Diego and other big cities in the state. But now the situation has changed because President Trump is now saying that he's going to withhold federal funds from any jurisdiction that is a sanctuary city, and that label applies to all of these jurisdictions.
Including, remember how crazy this was? San Francisco wanted to be so pro-sanctuary city just about a year ago that when Supervisor Matt Dorsey wanted to propose an ordinance that if you get arrested for being a fentanyl dealer and you're in the country illegally, then that doesn't count as sanctuary city, he got called a racist.
That's right. So now they're going to have to make some interesting choices. they can comply with federal law and abide by what the president is requesting of them and stop being sanctuary cities. They can cooperate with ICE, and when ICE wants someone who's in one of their jails to be turned over, they will comply. If ICE calls them and asks them for information on a particular individual and they have it, they can provide that information. The same way that a local jurisdiction would provide that information if a different federal agency came calling. If the Environmental Protection Agency, for example, wants to work in conjunction with the local authorities in Los Angeles to get the land in Pacific Palisades environmentally to a place where rebuilding can take place, that's something that no one bats an eye at. But when it comes to immigration, suddenly the needle goes off the record for many of these cities. And if they want to stand on principle and they want to remain sanctuary cities, that's fine. You have a choice. You can do that. You're facing budget cuts right now with those federal dollars. If those federal dollars go away, you're going to have to make more cuts. In fact, you're going to have to make a lot of cuts. And you're going to have to decide which departments are going to take the biggest haircut. Is it going to be fire? Is it going to be police? Is it going to be the political staff working for the council and the mayor's office? Is it going to be public works? Is it going to be at your municipal utilities? Where, oh, where are you going to decide to make cuts? And they're not going to be minimal cuts. They're not going to be cuts that can be papered over. These are going to have to be significant, deep cuts because you are so reliant on federal dollars. Your cities, your staff, they're going to have to become a shell of what they once were. Which means, as much as you hate Elon Musk, and as much as you hate what the federal government is doing now, the only way for you to survive is to come up with your own Doge and to figure out what you can live without and get rid of that so you can live within your means. I'm all for that. You want to stand on principle? Fine. That's what you're going to have to do. If you want those federal dollars so you can keep your cities operating about where they're operating now, then that's fine too. What you will have to do is comply with the feds, and you're going to have to abandon your sanctuary city policies. Get with the program. What these cities and what the state of California will ultimately do, we don't know quite yet. My guess is they're biting their fingernails today trying to figure out what they're going to do. My guess is they don't know quite yet, and it might take them a good long while. This is putting them in the worst place possible because they're going to have to decide who they're going to pick. Are they going to pick the open borders crowd, or are they going to pick their beloved public employee unions? The public employee unions will take most of the hits if those federal dollars go away. I don't particularly care which side they come down on because I think it's a win either way. Either the cities cut, or they get real on immigration. Either way, it's an improvement from where we are right now. But I've got to tell you, having covered all of these people for as long as we have, I don't really know if I can predict which way they're going to come down. Are they going to side with open borders, or are they going to side with public employees? If you have a theory on what they're going to do, we would love to hear from you right now at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Donald Trump says no more money for cities if they are sanctuary cities. The cities are broke. They need that money, but they like being sanctuary cities. What do you think they're going to do? Remain sanctuary cities or cut? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, now that we've hit the halfway point of today's show, if you want to continue listening to us after we sign off at 3, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts. Like, let's say you've got a real Jones for the head of the teachers union in Los Angeles, Cecily Mayart Cruz.
Get that money!
And you want to cover the strike that she had in 2022 where she got a 22% raise.
We demand higher pay.
She was only asking for a 20% raise, but she got more.
5 weeks!
Go to The John Phillips Show on Apple Podcasts.
Let's go!
Go to The John Phillips Show on iHeartRadio.
But let us keep it real.
Go to The John Phillips Show on Spotify.
And I want you to be all the way pissed off.
And that way you can download all the episodes. Even though it's April, you can listen to shows from last
May.
All right, we're taking your calls at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. President Donald Trump went on Truth Social and said sanctuary cities are going to be cut off from federal funds. Either they get with the program and comply with federal law, or they're going to have to figure out how to meet their operating expenses without any federal dollars. If you look at the big sanctuary cities in California, L.A., San Francisco, Oakland, San Diego, they're all broke, and they're trying to figure out where they're going to make cuts under the best of circumstances. If you take those federal dollars away from them, they're really going to have to go from a scalpel to a meat cleaver. What do you think they're going to do? Do you think these sanctuary cities in California are going to get with the program, or do you think they're going to stick to their guns? 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. We're taking your calls right now at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. President Donald Trump said no more money for sanctuary cities. The biggest cities in the state of California are sanctuary cities, and they're broke. What do you think they're going to do? 800-222-5222 is the number. Let's begin with Patrick in West Covina. Patrick, welcome.
Good afternoon, John. Good afternoon, Randy. Yeah, they're going to have to get in line. They can't pass an audit. They're spending billions of dollars on health care for illegals. They're turning criminals loose from the jails without notifying ICE. And the federal government has every right not to put up with the shenanigans anymore. I mean, NGOs are ripping us off. Money goes, billions go unaccounted for, and they expect to get money. If they expect to get money at all, let alone get money that doesn't have strings attached, they've got another thing coming because they've mismanaged the cities and the states to the point where they can't be allowed to continue to operate.
What's interesting is that many of these cities eventually got with the program on crime. They understand that the public is fed up with crime, and we saw these DAs get dumped, we've seen mayors get dumped, and we saw 36 pass. And even though they didn't like it, they were dragged along with the idea of putting bad guys in jail. What do you think they're going to do here? Do you think this is going to go the way of crime, or do you think they're going to dig in their heels and stomp their feet?
It's an 80% issue. They're political animals. They're going to realize they're on the wrong side of an 80% issue, that their funding is drying up, and that they can't control anything. It's not a popular position that they're taking, except for their radical base. So I think they're going to get in line. I mean, they might not be wholeheartedly helping out the Fed, but they're not going to be as loud and as proud about defying federal law.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Randy in Napa. Randy, hello.
Hi, John and Randy. Good to see you or hear you. I think that they ought to just abolish any money towards the bullet train, first off, to solve these cities' problems. And I also think that maybe the senators and the Democrats, since they let all this happen, maybe they ought to devote some money to saving these cities. That's about all I have to say.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Dave in Lawndale. Dave, welcome.
Hey, thanks for the call. They're just going to raise taxes on the 1%. They're so out of touch with reality and obtuse. They're not going to change. They can't. They need the illegal aliens eventually to become voters, and they're not going to do it. They're going to raise taxes on the 1%, and the 1% will vote for them.
So you think they're just going to find a way to meet their operating expenses without federal dollars and just make it work?
Yeah, they'll put some bond measure through and call it some gobbledygook, and the 80% of Democrats will go out and vote for it because the Democratic Party outnumbers the Republicans in California 3-1. I mean, hey, I'm in Huntington Beach, and we're represented by a Democrat in Huntington Beach.
Well, we'll see what they do, but you can push too far. I mean, look at what's going on right now in West Hollywood, where they have the, $25 an hour minimum wage, and restaurants are dropping like flies, and they're going on social media like Le Petit Fleur on Sunset Boulevard, saying that they are closing their doors as a direct result of the actions of the city council and the $25 an hour minimum wage. At a certain point, when you have no place left to eat, the residents are going to have to say, I wonder if we made a mistake.
They might figure it out. I don't know. Those politicians have never had a real job, so they just come up with ideas, and they don't realize, what is it? The road to hell is paved with unintended consequences. They don't get it. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to John in Santa Barbara. John, welcome.
Hi, you guys. Great show. I'm really glad got a nice another show to listen to down here. But I'm with the last couple callers. The sheeple of California, and they are sheep, 80%. I know there's some red out in the valley. I'm on the Central Coast. Boy, it's pretty woke along here. I've lived here for a long time. It's just such a shame to see what's going on along the coast here, Lompoc, Santa Maria, murders, killings, and unfortunately, this animal for a governor, and he really is an animal, literally a political animal, coming from the likes of Pelosi and Kamala, that stinking, rotten, corrupt machine, he won't blink. I think this guy has too much to lose. He knows he does. He truly is an evil thing, and he won't buckle. He's got the backbone of these woke liberals running the state from San Francisco to L.A. And John, can you tell me what happened to the gentleman Gascon? Where is he now?
Well, I hope he's at the unemployment office because he got dumped by voters.
I know he did, but I wish he was shipped off to Devil's Island or something like that. People like that. Anyway, I just don't think this guy's going to blink. And am I to understand they're going to do another study on the rail to nowhere? Now they're going to do another study to see if they can make the train to nowhere work. I mean, if people look at this black hole that they literally ran down the middle of the Central Valley, and the people are up in arms of the billions of dollars wasted on this stinking, stupid train to nowhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say, and I'm a California kid, born and raised in California, northern L.A. County. Been working on the coast for 40, 50 years. I've seen the golden goose, and I've seen the golden goose with its head cut off. And I don't see it getting any better unless this state literally goes bankrupt. And apparently the Constitution of California won't let that happen somehow. I don't know.
All right.
Well, anyway, thank you for your program.
Thank you for the call, sir, and thank you for listening to us along the Central Coast.
Which signal hits him?
Probably
790 doesn't go that far, does it?
It's got to be KSFO.
That's awesome.
Let's go to Ron in Rodeo. Ron, hello.
Yeah. How you doing? I've been, I don't know, we've been living here way back, and we can see the changes in this state, and we're kind of fed up, and I can't really go anywhere. I'm no spring chicken, and it's hard to at times figuring out how to manage things, but we keep pushing, and this state has really gone to whatever, and I hope the people wake up, because if it keeps going this way, we're going to have some major issues, and I wouldn't be surprised. They talk about a revolution or something or other. I'm not into that, but I think people are getting fed up with the way the Democrats have fed us so much here in California.
Oh, you can't say that, Ron. Thanks so much for the call. Hey, text Lewis.
I love the passion, though. Let's go to Robert in San Pedro. Robert, hello.
Gentlemen, they're going to dig their heels in. They're like third graders on the playground. They're at the end of their political rope. They're going to stick to their guns, and they just have to do it. It's a matter of principle with them. So thank you for allowing me on your show, guys.
Well, ideology is something that's very difficult to break from, especially if you're doing it for issues related to practicality. But I see where you're coming from there, sir. I see where you're coming from. They don't bend the knee that often. And when they do, usually it's with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the members of Congress, and it's for a reason completely different. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. President Trump says no more money for sanctuary cities. Big sanctuary cities in California are broke. They're now facing a very difficult choice. What do you think they're going to do? 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. Let's go back to the phones at 800-222-5222 and welcome Bob in Alhambra. Bob, hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, sorry about that. I honestly think that they're going to just stay the course. I don't think they're going to change anything. I think they're going to keep it a sanctuary city. I just can't see, especially with people already saying that Kamala might be the next governor of the state. I can't see it. You know what I mean? Like, people, I think she has a good shot of winning, and it's sad, and that's the state of this state, obvious, unfortunately.
Well, if Kamala gets elected, it won't be an earthquake that puts us in the ocean. It'll be her.
Yeah, but I did hear you bring up Public Works, and I do work for LA County Public Works. I'm at the headquarters right now, what I'm hearing might be the old headquarters, because I believe Public Works bought the old gas company building in downtown LA for like $3 billion or something like that.
All right, well, sounds like...
Yeah, and then also SEIU is about to strike, so... There's a lot going on in the city that I don't know how, it's kind of scary, because I feel like as a public works employee, like you were saying, they're going to cut public.
Oh, unfortunately, you're going to be the first place to get cut, buddy.
Oh, yeah. All the useless positions will remain.
Yeah. I doubt it, but, I'm hoping that the state can change better for my son, but, I doubt it. I hope I'll probably have to get out of here just like billions of others have left.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Rick in Sonoma. Rick, hello.
Yes, good afternoon. Listen to you on the radio, and I was thinking how many people, or even in the government, realize that Governor Newsom made the whole state of California a sanctuary state. So if you're just identifying the major cities, all the cities have to do is move all the illegals out into the suburbs, out of the city, and then they're not being caught anymore. That this whole sanctuary states needs to be cleaned out. For even Sacramento, for transsexual kids are being protected there. And God help us if Newton ever becomes president and tries to do this nationally. But somebody needs to let the Washington, D.C. know that the whole state of California and a couple other states, the whole state is a sanctuary state.
Okay, to that point, sir, I'm looking back at Donald Trump's post on Truth Social. Here is a portion where he addressed that. Working on papers to withhold all federal funding for any city or state that allows these death traps to exist. So Newsom could see his funding cut off, too.
That's great to hear. I'm glad that he put that in there. Thank you very much. I appreciate listening to you.
Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Bill in La Cañada. Bill, hello.
Hey, John, Trump has intimated through various administrators that local officials and possibly state officials face potential arrest for obstructing federal investigations. So I think when the feds start arresting clowns like Sheriff Robert Luna and Babs Ferrer, who's promoting, whether she knows it or not, she's promoting violation of federal drug laws with her harm reduction nonsense. And this latest thing, Superintendent Carvalho blocking federal ICE agents from being on campus at LA Unified. When he starts arresting those jokers, maybe we'll see some movement.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Robert in San Jose. Robert, welcome.
Hey, thank you, John. I'd like to complain about this gas tax that has destroyed the state, and it's been compounded in more gas taxes. It's inflated insurance. It's rounded out restaurants. They had a double-priced pantry during, minute its inception. During the pandemic, you challenged these restaurants with a double-priced pantry, put them in jeopardy. They sell 200 plates a day all the time, but they can't make any money. They retract their labor. Their insurance costs go, an 80 triple. They have a bar. This guy is so guilty of hurting so many dreams. I thought he could be, you even thought of not getting admonished and punished, and they're going to let him be governor. And the Prop 19 passing as well. I mean, they're getting rounded out of this state systematically. Who is he working for? And, it's the people who want to buy them, the people who are, becoming bankrupt and failing. I think that he's not working for Californians.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Alan in L.A. Alan, welcome.
Hi there. So when it comes to the choice between public sector unions versus the open borders people, it's like, who cares? I'm going to just get a big bowl of popcorn, pop open a beer, and watch the fireworks. It'll be great.
Thank you for the call, sir. Let's go to Ann in San Francisco. Ann, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you. I wanted to address the closing of the Great Highway in San Francisco. I'm 82 years old, been here all my life, and that was a thoroughfare when the Sutro Baths, the Cliff House, Playland. I learned to drive on the Great Highway when I was 15. And it's ruining the neighborhood. Sunset, we all protested it, and they still pushed it through. And Golden Gate Park is across the street. It doesn't make any sense. And I understand the gentleman that proposed the thing is from Michigan, not even in California. How's that for an act?
Well, this is what they want to do. They want to close more roads, make it more difficult for people to drive around. Also, you can use public transit, even when you already have those options, and they're never going to stop.
And at this point, I think all the Kias in the Bay Area have been stolen and used as battering rams in Oakland, so you won't have those to drive either.
And thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it.